Session. Welcome to the second episode of our live programming session. Let's at first conclude what we already have. We have a list of battle locations. Each battle location has battles. Each battle has a date and some soldiers involved. Each soldier has a username, a password and a role. So each soldier is also a user. And now we have to set up the auction system to negotiate which soldiers are fighting on which side in the battle. So let's start our editor first. Here we have our UML chart, and at first every user has to get its own avatar. Image contain. So every user can upload his own avatar. Now we have to battle. We have to create the map first, I think, because you cannot negotiate a battle if you don't know which country you are fighting for. So we add a country table. And yes, country is identified by name. Each country has a name, but also a current owner. Which is a user. Then we also have a economic strength. And yes, income per day, and this is the economic strength of the country. Or let's better call it regions. It's currently an integer, but we want to have like a own currency, and then also a own own currency, yes. Question into the chat. How should we name our currency? We can use like dollar, but we can also let's just say credit. Let's make the internal name money, and a fixed unit symbol of like credits, or better C. So, and now we also have to have money per day. With credits per day. So our income of the country is money per day. Income money per day. So let's take a first test. Update the database. And now we have our regions. We can create the first region as like Eibau. And with owner, we have to create a second data type for owners, like UML chart. A user can have a user country owner, and it will also display username, but has a null element of, let's say, not conquered yet, or unoccupied. So we have an unoccupied data type, and each country is owned by a user country owner. Also, I have to do some adjustments to our access control system, because no one is allowed to create new regions. Only the admin is allowed. But they can, of course, view the country. Also add some things like a user list of occupied countries. Regions, and also let's sort the country names alphabetically, or better for income. So the most valuable income first. Okay, let's compile the whole thing. And now we have our create form. We have a region Eibau, which brings us like 12 credits per day. Now let's create a region Elbersbach, which is also unoccupied, and income per day is like 16 credits per day, and I guess Dorf is like 17 credits per day, and Leutersdorf is like 7 credits per day. Now we have like 4 regions that we can fight for, and I also want to add a graphical map so that we can see a map of the country, and then like these regions highlighted on the map. But we will do this in a separate session. So we will at first create the data scheme in this thing, and yes. So let's say Neugersdorf is occupied by admin. Of course, only the admin can set this. So if we let's open the view for Knut. Oh, I did something wrong. Yes, move this. So localhost for project, and I log in as Knut. Knut will see the regions, but he won't be able to edit them, so he can only view them, and admin occupies one region. Yes, regions are always sorted by highest income per day on top. So that's basically the country system. And now we want to add a feature where you can initiate a battle. And each battle request will have a battle where it will take place, and a land that is the attacker, and a land that will be attacked. So let's create a data scheme for it. An attack. So we won't show it in the tables menu, an attack, but we will have a battle where it will take place, then a attacker, which is a country, so attacker, also a owner of the battle of the attack, which will be a user. Of course, we could also attacker and attacking region. So, of course, we could also derive the attacker from the owner from the attacker, but this won't be a smart solution, because if a attacker is like if the country has changed its owner, of course we have to remove the attack, because we cannot attack if the land has been taken over by another party. And we have a defender, attacked region, and this is also a country. If we create this data scheme and test it, we will I will show you what I mean. But at first, I have to add some, of course, like connections. Because the battle has a list of attacks. Primary sublist and the attacks. So we have a battle, and we have the list of attacks that will take place in this battle. Now we have an error here, but we will fix it soon. Oh, our IDE is currently running. What? Okay. Oh, we have to update the IDE. Okay. Already downloading. There we have our IDE again. So if we now make the project, we have this error message, and now let's dig into this. Country, validate. Let's grab for country, and let's see if we define the database data type twice, maybe. Yes, we have drop down data type table country, validate query, fact class static method, validate, and for backends column 1 was replaced with, and now the same again, fact guilty for fact 1, drop down data type table, and guilty for fact 1 but not for fact 2 is primary key and description table. So somehow validate is created twice. Drop down data type table access SQL, drop down data type table 1 was produced by this rule and 2 also by this rule. Or is it a different? It's this file and line 97. So this rule is creating the double fact. So okay, seems like we cannot rely that access SQL is is reliable. I will have to test it. If I move the condition here, let's make fast. Okay, this did not solve the issue. Or did it? Facts skill default. So we have data type country, and they drop down. Unequal null description, database query is invalid input. So the problem is that our function validate is created twice. Let's make a debug session. Let's create a debug file and let's look for drop-down data type table access SQL because it's created there. And now we have one access rule, which typically says, okay, a country can be accessed if the user is logged in. Okay, it seems very normal. For some reason, the rule is called twice and tries to override it. Where user is guest and ID equals some, throw exception, info, but the guild does not match. Fact 2, but not in fact 1, as drop down data type table, country, and countries name drop down data type table. So it has this 3-part drop down data type table. This seems very suspicious. Description, column, attack, attacker, attacking. Why is this description column in the dependencies? I will have to look it up. Description column, attack, attacker, attacking region and country. Why does it depend on the description column? Okay, it's all taking place in this file. Now I have to see where I have other occurrences of table access SQL. And a drop-down data type table induces access SQL, which will read table access, table item rule, or rule of view. Okay, that seems pretty normal. Validate. We have to backtrack it because if we don't know the reason why it fails, we have to remove code until it will work again to find out really the guilty fact that will blow up our whole thing. If I remove this description column, which is very suspicious to me, like the attacker, attacking region. In an attack, we have the attacker, attacking region, which is a country. So let's make a comment around all this and try if make will give us success. Okay, now we found the reason why the failure occurs. Now we add country and defender again, and now we will get the error again. So let's try to take out only one of these lines and test. Okay, we get the error again. So as soon as we have a column with the type country, it blows up. Now let's grab for country in the source code and also filter this for type. and we have this drop-down data type table, country name. If we change the type from country to integer, just for testing purpose, then we are getting a working code. So it's really the usage of the data type country that makes problems. And for some reason the guild is including country description column attacker, and of course in the second fact then it's the defender. Fact 1 was produced by access SQL, that's on was produced by this other rule, access SQL. Oh, is it different rules? No, it's not different. But of course, there's a difference in the code produced. No, it's not. It's just shortened here and not shortened there. So, other guesses? Write it in the comments. What could be the reason for this failure? Even I don't know. The attacker is somehow put into the dependencies. This is the only occurrence of a description column and table definition. Drop-down data type table is a fixed fact which has no guild. Primary key should also not have any guild, and drop-down data type access SQL, okay, is somehow dependent. It must be in creating this fact, so this is the reason. But the drop-down data type table also has no guild. Still have no clue. How many facts are created, like class static method types and data type first cap identifier? Do we have some name clashes, like in the name of this method? So validate types country validate. Outlib types, this is our old compilation. Yes, user country owner, user country. Okay, I got the problem, I got the issue. We have, of course, have multiple country types, because the fob core is like as soon as you create a column with the type country, it will initialize a type with a real existing country, like yes, this is the list of all real existing countries in the whole world. And as soon as we use a column called country, it will, yes. Okay. Yes, here we have the rule, the guilty rule, description column with some kind of with country inside. Then we have a list countries. So let's rename the whole type and turn it into FOB country. Set HL search, so we see 3 occurrences. Yes, FOB country. And also call them FOB countries. So countries. Replace all occurrences of countries with FOB countries. Now we have our this should have fixed the issue. So let's try and make fast. This way we won't have a further compilation clash. That's great. Now this code is really outdated. Normally you don't use this kind of method anymore for adding new types. Use type is a very better way. So we can also modernize this code. Use type. If the user uses the type FOB country, it will induce the module that will add countries. Now grab data type in FOB backends and grab it for editor. Grab edit. Oh, that was not so good. Doku, like doku documentation. No, it's still not cool. We have to take a look into the editor, because I assume that this FOB country type won't show up in the editor. But let's take a look. Will the editor offer us FOB country as a data type? Go into a attack and let's see if we can select FOB country, and it won't show up in the list. So how does FOB detect that the type is there? Let's open some files that have a type in it, and there we have our drop-down list in the editor that displays all types. Now editor mode, indirect type, and now yes, editor type. Editor type is our clue. Let's grab for editor type in the project, and we have editor type, type predicate, param Okay, that's one thing. But there must also be some like data type indirect. All these fixed types, how do they come into our list? These are our fixed data types, and we have a data type. If we have a data type default, then it will also make itself into the list. And also our doku data type, and there we have our clue. Our doku data types, yes, and here we can have our data type doku with all data types, yes, described. And of course we will have to add our data type Dogo to this file too. So we have our data type FOB country. 230 countries we have in the list. So drop down, select one of 230 countries. Of course, this also has a list of regions, like federal states. 1,800 lines above. Okay. But we don't have the code activated now. For now. So we have fixed our country list. Let's test if we have the FOB countries data type now available. If I refresh the IDE, and I want to select a type, I should have FOB country in the list now. Let's see if we find it. File preview, fax, text file, file preview, fax. No, it's not there. So it only detects default data types. So I think in the moment we don't have any chance to find the FOB Dogo data type, except we modify the code a little bit. But I think this should not take place in this session. So let's somehow skip this, and we have our code working now. Fix country name clash. So we already fixed a little bit, and now let's get back to work. We can now do our make fast, and we have our DB check, we can update our database, and we have our regions and our attacks. Now, if I have a battle location, it took up so much time that I have to log in again. So we have our battle location, and there's a battle taking place, like on 2nd of February. And now we have our soldiers involved in our attacks. And now I can create an attack. Attacker, I should set a default value that always I attack. And I have to select a attacking region and a attacked region. I should change this to defend region, like attack region. Please write into the comments what do you think, how should I name these fields. And of course it's I have to create I have to rename them. So I have to set the default value of attacker that always I will attack. the attacking region has to be somehow filtered, so I can only attack from regions that I own, and I can also only attack regions that I do not own. So let's do this. We have battle locations. We have to go to attack, and attack owner is always me. So default PHP expression fob user get ID. So always I will attack. We have to also reflect this in the access rules. I cannot edit the owner of an attack, and also not create it. So next one, please. We have our countries. I have to have two lists. I have a country that is owned by me, and I have a country that is not owned by me. And in the country me, we have to add a condition like owner is equal to fob database quote fob user get ID. So a country that is owned by me is always like this. And default order SQL, default priority SQL, and so on. Appearance, search, edit, group, fancy, inline, searchable, and so on. Okay. In a country other, has to be a country that is not owned by me. So owner is not equal to fob database quote. So let's test the code. And now we should have a different thing. I can not edit the owner because I am always the owner, but of course I created the types. Oh shit. Of course I created the types, but I did not update the columns to use these types. So I go back to attack. So we have attacker country, and of course we have to set them to our new types. So the attacker is always country me, and the attacked region is always country other. So let's make it. You are not logged in. Let's log in again. So if I'm in this battle, I can create an attack. And now I can only select the regions that I own. And I can also only attack regions that I do not own. So, let's attack Eversbach from Neugersdorf. Now we have these attacks. And I think this should be it for today. And the next time we will see that we can maybe next time we want to integrate the map, but we can also continue working on our attack system so that we can choose which soldiers are fighting on which side of the attack. And of course also yes, that the defender will get an email that he's getting attacked on a specific date, and so on. Of course, we should also add some constraints, like you cannot add a new attack to a battle that already took place, and of course we also should leave some time for the defender to hire some soldiers. So we have to somehow create a rule that we can only place attacks in a battle that is like at least 2 days from now. Okay. What did we achieve today? We have our soldiers, which got a new column avatar. We got a list of battles, and in each battle we have our attacks. And for each attack you can select a country that is attacking and a country that is being attacked. So that's it for today. Bye bye.